Oh honey, I am so not threatened by you. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. My man with a 10-foot pole. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. My man with a 10-foot pole. Last check, you don't have a man. You don't have a man. You don't have a man. Last check, you don't have a man. You don't have a man. You don't have a man. So your panini press. Last check, your panini press. So your panini press. Last check, your panini press. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. My man with a 10-foot pole. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. You're just mad because I have a chat. Last check, you don't have a man. You don't have a man. You don't have a man. Last check, you don't have a man. You don't have a man. You don't have a man. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole.
Yes! I want a lawyer. Please, sir. Sir? I want a lawyer. Please, I need a lawyer.
Okay, have a seat.
Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How is my sound? Let me check that out really quickly. I need some soothing background music, like morbid. Okay. Anyhow, how is everybody doing today on this wonderful Tuesday, December the 17th? In the afternoon, 11:44. Thank you for being here. If you're here, thank you for watching the replay. If you watch the replay, but please do not forget to hit that thumbs up, baby. Okay? Make sure you do that right away because it really helps push the video out into the algorithm. It's a free way to support the channel. Just go hit that thumbs up, all right? Do as I say. Do as I say. Not as I do. All right, let's see who all we got here in the chat. Lady Amnesty, hello. Jetica, Joy, Bryn, Bridget, Buttons and Gadgets, Miss. All righty then. Schmutter on the dance floor, Nicole. Irate Unicorn, Wild One, Cassandra. Uniquely My Michelle, Teresa Nicole, Hollow Mom, Cinnamon Rolls, Jenny Light, Anana Mouse. Hello, Jessie GM. Bad Girl, it's Erin. Mary Ritter. Rachel L. Hello, everybody. Hello. Conspiracy in the house. I think she just dropped a video, by the way. Y'all make sure to check out Conspiracy. She has a great channel, great TikTok as well. Let's see. If I'm missing you, I apologize because I can't scroll up too far. Stoner Girl. Hello. Long time no see, I do believe. Hey, Fun Times. Pink Nightmare. If I have a nightmare, I hope it's in pink. Carms, my Carms is here. What up, Carms? Chrissy, hello. It's Erin. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. All right, guys. So we're gonna be doing some stuff and things. There's a lot to talk about today, but I want to start, breaking down every lie, which is a lot of lies to sort through here. Jip, we're gonna do. If we had 20 days till Christmas, it would be 20 days till Gypmas. Oh, that puts a tarnish on the Christmas, though, doesn't it? Oh, Jip, you little lying ass bitch. I've been paying attention, Jip, and doing some digging into all my files. I'm gonna prove your shit. I'm gonna call you out. I'll prove your shit. First of all, I just noticed I got a notification a little while ago, about 30 minutes or so, where Gypsy has posted this on her Instagram. Her memoir, My Time to Stand, is a #1 bestseller. Oh, what? A bestseller? I'm not believing that. Variety. A bestseller in what? In what category? Oh, does it say? Let's see. No. It just says #1 bestsellers. Yeah, I bet, Gypsy. This is what I have come. I mean, this is no surprise, right? But I've noticed now more than ever just how delusional Gypsy is. Like, she is so delusional. She has lived nothing but a delusional life. Hello, Laura Lynn. I'm like, Gypsy, you need some help, girl. I'm really worried about the baby. I'm not going to lie. Okay, well, maybe it'll be all right with supervision. Like, I don't think she's going to do anything to the baby, but I'm worried about the baby's health. Okay, because you're not showing very much, Gypsy, and I think the gyp tea on the bayou is that your child may be underdeveloped, and if so, that's okay. I just really hope you take the time to take care of that. I'm so concerned about that. Yeah, me too. Because Gypsy taking care of a child is one thing, but there's a 50-50 chance she could be taking care of a child with needs. So we'll see, I guess. But we need to put our flyers out for Kenton. There's no saving Ken. There's no saving you now, buddy, all right? You decided to put your wing in a murderer, and she made sure that you knocked her up. So you're stuck, buddy. You're stuck. Okay, can I just say the book signing she did not look pregnant. No, she didn't. But she put out some newer pictures where she actually changed her shirt. I don't know. She's a mess, y'all. Straight up mess. Hold on. Okay, so a little story time here. Before we get into it. Because okay, I'm going to be all over the place. This is why I need to stick to my notes, and I never do. But I want to read you guys something. I don't have the chat GBT, or maybe I do. I don't know. It's called Chatbox, and it's an AI, right? Little AI. So I told it to write me a story, and I gave it the details of the story I wanted them to write. This AI, okay? So I'm going to read it to you guys. All right? So get ready for a little book reading time of my own. It's just interesting how accurate AI can be, Gypsy was failure to thrive, and in the 2% for height, weight as a baby, so baby will probably be the same. Well, in the interview with Kale Lowry, which we're going to get into that. Hey, Apple. She talks about the microdeletion and how her child has a 50-50 chance of getting it. And we hadn't heard that before because she keeps telling us that baby has a clean bill of health. Well, it doesn't. Because if it has your microdeletion, Gypsy, it's going to have the same issues you have. And we're going to get into that. How Gypsy is not a victim of Munchausen by proxy, which is something I've been screaming from the rooftops, okay? Let me go find real quick before I read my story. Everybody go get your juice box and get ready for my story. But before I do that, I want to, let's see, when did I start calling out? Where's my channel? Oh, Jesus. I can't even find my own channel. All right, there it is. All right, let's go here to my little playlist. Take a look here. When did I do that first stream? Sorry, guys. I just want to know because I have been over here screaming about justice for Dee Dee for a very long time, okay? Where the fuck is it? Maybe I shouldn't have gone there. Let's see. All right, here it is. 12, no, that's sorry, wrong number. 10 months ago, I did a live that was called Gypsy Rose is not a victim of Munchausen by proxy. All right, let's go back to the chat GPT. We're going to read a little story time and then we'll dive on into the other stuff. Okay. All right, so here we go. Like I said, I plugged in to the chat GPT, some of the details I wanted it to talk about. And so here we go. I'm going to have to change the names because they gave Gypsy and Dee Dee, fake names. So I'm going to have to fill their names in. All right. In the quiet town of blank, there lived a single mother named Dee Dee and her daughter, Gypsy. From the moment Gypsy was born, life was a struggle. Diagnosed with a microdeletion of chromosome 1q21.1, Gypsy faced numerous medical challenges. Dee Dee, determined to give her daughter the best life possible, devoted herself entirely to Gypsy's care. She loved her fiercely and worked tirelessly to provide for her, even as they lived in near poverty. Dee Dee would often reach out to foundations like Make-A-Wish, seeking support and opportunities for her daughter. To the outside world, it appeared as though Dee Dee was a saintly figure devoted to a child who requires constant care. But behind closed doors, Dee Dee began to exaggerate Gypsy's disabilities. Driven by desperation, Dee Dee manipulated situations to gain financial assistance, convinced that it was the only way to secure a brighter future for both of them. As Gypsy grew older, she too began to exaggerate her own symptoms, playing into the narrative her mother had created. The two shared many memorable adventures, despite Gypsy spending most of her time in a wheelchair. They visited Disney World and explored places that seemed like distant dreams, all while building a bond that, on the surface, appeared to be unbreakable. However, as time passed, the dynamic between mother and daughter began to shift. Gypsy, now in her early 20s, grew increasingly rebellious. She began sneaking out at night to meet men. Her actions ignited a fire of anger and concern in Dee Dee. Yet, despite her worries, Dee Dee never resorted to physical discipline or abuse. She only sought to protect her daughter, who seemed increasingly lost in a world of manipulation and deceit. At 23, Gypsy met Nick, a kind-hearted but mentally disabled man. Despite his challenges, he idolized Gypsy, and she saw in him an opportunity to further her own selfish desires. Slowly, she began to manipulate him, planting seeds of anger against Dee Dee. Quote, "She doesn't care about you like I do," end quote. Now, I did not tell Chat GPT or whatever it's called to put that in there, but I thought that was an interesting little quote they added. "She doesn't care about you like I do," Gypsy would whisper, twisting Jake's perception of her mother. One fateful night, Gypsy executed her chilling plan. She provided Nick with gloves and a knife, which she had stolen from a local Walmart. With a calmness that belied the horror of her intentions, I don't know if I said that word right, but whatever, she let him into her home. As Dee Dee slept unknowingly and trustingly, Nick stabbed her to death, fulfilling Gypsy's dark request. In the aftermath, Gypsy and Jake fled to his parents' home, believing they would find solace together, but the fairy tale quickly unraveled. The reality of their actions weighed heavily on Gypsy. Now that's bullshit. Chat GPT. Just 2 days later, she made a grotesque post on her mother's Facebook account, brazenly proclaiming the bitch is dead. The police traced the IP address of the post back to Nick's home, leading them to the couple. As the investigation deepened, Gypsy's facade began to crack. Despite desperate to save herself, she turned on Nick, claiming he acted alone, painting herself as a victim. Quote, "He was unstable," she insisted, her voice dripping with feigning innocence. However, evidence began to mount against her. Text messages between Gypsy and Nick, revealing the chilling truth: she had orchestrated the entire murder. Confronted with the damning evidence during her preliminary hearing, Gypsy's lies fell apart. She was charged with, well, that's not true. She was not charged with first-degree murder, was she? Was she actually charged with it, or I don't know how you put that technically. Okay, as the trial, which there was no trial, remember this is just story time, unfolded, shocking revelations emerged about the medical fraud that had clouded their lives. Both mother and daughter had participated in exaggerating disabilities to gain financial support. Faced with the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence, Gypsy was offered a plea deal, and her narrative shifted once again. She claimed she had been medically abused by her mother, a story that painted Dee Dee as the villain. The courtroom, which of course that never happened, was filled with disbelief as Gypsy spun her tale, leaving out the truth of her own actions and the bond they once shared. Dee Dee had never abused her. She had fought tirelessly to provide love and care. But in Gypsy's twisted version of the truth, she became the victim and Clara the abuser. I'm sorry, not Clara. In the story, it's Clara, but here it's Dee Dee. She became the victim and Dee Dee the abuser. After spending 8 years in prison, Gypsy was granted parole early. Upon her release, she began to profit from her crime, writing books and appearing on television shows that sensationalized her story. With each appearance, she slandered her mother's memory, painting Dee Dee as the monster she had never been. The community that once viewed Dee Dee as a devoted mother now grappled with the horrifying reality of her daughter's betrayal. Many felt a deep sense of injustice, knowing that Dee Dee had only wanted to love and support her daughter. In the wake of Gypsy's rise to notoriety, advocates for Dee Dee began to rally. Determined to honor her memory, they organized campaigns to raise awareness, blah, 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 blah. Justice for Dee Dee is what that basically says. In the fight for justice. All right, so that's it, really, of the story. It just goes into, like, how people can, fought for justice for Dee Dee, okay? Because that's what this is about. We're exposing all of your ass, Gypsy. All right. Story time's over. Hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was a better version. We're going to call it My Time to Tand, my version, or the real version. The truth. All right. Because I think GPT did a much better job at, telling the story than Gypsy did her own damn self. My Lord. All right, I've got something else for you guys. So who remembers when Gypsy, remember when Gypsy had the PR team, Red Bunghole, and then, she would put out really cringe videos, like the one in particular of her feeding Ken baby food. Who remembers that? Y'all remember when that happened? When she fed Ken the baby food? Y'all remember that? So we're going to revisit that real quick. We're going to revisit that, okay? It's going to be a little uncomfortable because, look, I've listened to Gypsy's book more, too many times, and not always because I want to, but, other people are reading it on their live streams and things like that. So sometimes I'll catch something I didn't catch, maybe the first time I listened to it. I think Gypsy, and this is also from me doing deep dives into the Facebook groups, a theory and a thing. Look, I'm just going to be blunt about it. Gypsy liked to do age play, as they put it. Okay? I really think the bottle, I hate saying that. It sounds so gross. All right? I think that was her kink. All right? I think she has a weird fetish for stuff like that. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's disgusting. I don't even like the words or what I'm saying coming out of my mouth, but like there's just something so dark and gross about her and the way that she sexualizes like things with children, y'all. And her daddy, like she's got the biggest, the worst daddy issues. They're gross though, and they're sexual too. It's very disturbing. Very disturbing. Number one bestseller for what? For what, Gypsy? Because like we all need therapy after reading your bizarre memoir. It's not bizarre because of Dee Dee. It's bizarre because of you. Like, do you realize that in your delusional mind? Seriously, this woman is beyond delusional. Seriously. All right, so here we go. We're going to revisit that with a little clippy clip from the book. So here we go.
The time I was born to when I was a month shy of 24 years old, Mama had never weaned me off the bottle. The baby bottle was my safety blanket, my security that I turned to when I was nervous before a doctor's appointment or surgery, a soothing mechanism to help me sleep, or just a comfort and companion when I would watch television or draw. It was filled with Pediasure. Strawberry flavor was my favorite, and I would
Hold on. Was it a comfort like you put that Barney doll? I know you did, Gypsy. I know it. Like I feel it in my gut, and I'm going to trust my gut with everything when it comes to you because I've been right every time I have a gut feeling. And you put that damn Barney doll next to your mama's head after she was brutally murdered. So I would like to read that in a book and how you went in there and put that Barney doll in there, okay?
to help me sleep, or just a comfort and companion when I would watch television or draw. It was
Yes.
filled with Pediasure. Strawberry flavor was my favorite, and I would stick the bottle underneath my armpit to warm it up. I was extremely picky when it came.
Y'all, I know I said this probably on my last stream, but you don't have to be your mom doesn't even have to wean you off of a bottle, okay? Let's say you gave a child a bottle and you never wean them off of it. They're going to get to an age where they just naturally do not want a bottle. Okay? 24 is not the age, more like 5. I think once a kid turned 5 or 6, they'd be like, no interest in a bottle, okay? Give me a cup and a straw. Which, by the way, you had straws and cups of Pepsi all over that damn house. Yes, warm Pediasure, y'all. She liked to warm it up under her armpit. In case you missed it, we'll rewind. I'll be quiet.
Television or draw. It was filled with Pediasure. Strawberry flavor was my favorite, and I would stick the bottle underneath my armpit to warm it up. I was extremely picky when it came to the nipples of the bottle. I didn't like the brown ones and preferred the clear nipples because they controlled the flow better. I didn't like the fluid to come out too fast. I preferred the bottle to the feeding tube. My sucking on the bottle wasn't a secret. We packed it up like you would a diaper bag when we ran errands. Of course, people would look sideways at first at a 13-year-old whipping out her bottle. But Mama would remind them, she's very mentally slow, or it's one of the 2 ways she can get her sustenance. To which people replied with a nod, yes, of course, makes total sense. As a result of my late stage bottle sucking, I developed the same teeth as SpongeBob SquarePants.
And then I cut it off here because I just wanted that clip. But at the end of that, she goes, which ended up in my teeth being extracted, which to this day, I just still don't understand. Gypsy, you sucked a baby bottle well into your 20s. Yeah, and your teeth look like SpongeBob SquarePants. That's why they pulled them. They were rotting out of your head, Gypsy. Fuck. She's dense, y'all. Like, sometimes I think she's smart, and then I'm like, she's not. She's not smart, and she's delusional. But anyhow, I don't want to sidetrack too much. So, all right, this video of Gypsy and Ken hits a little different after hearing, how much she loves her babas. She also talks about her babas when she ran away to meet Dan. She took her bottles and her nipples with her, okay?
Today we're going to be doing a little fun video for you guys. So I'm going to blindfold Ken, and I am going to be giving him tastes of different kinds of baby food, and to see if...
Y'all, I want you to just watch the joy on her face feeding him this fucking baby food. I really... It's strange. Poor Ken is over here. Do you think Ken knew about the baby bottle before the book came out? Do you think that was something she confided in him and in Ryan too, I guess? I would never. Because listen to what she says during this, and I don't think Ken knew about the Baba.
He could tell which is it. So...
Is this a thing that people do?
Yes, it's a thing that people do.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. All right.
I'll do it for myself.
Oh, yeah? How do I know you're not peeking?
I promise.
He promises.
My Karate Kid blindfold. Okay.
All right. So...
Are we good?
Let me see. Can you see
I can't
my...
see.
You can't see?
I
Okay.
can't see.
All right. So this is the first one that I'll try. Okay. Can you see that?
Are you going to feed it to me, or am I
yes,
going to reach
I'm
out?
gonna feed it to you. Remember when there's like a way to do this? Like,
Just don't spill it on me, please.
I need like a vice grip to open that.
Y'all see how she popped that baby bottle? That baby
I need
food.
like a way to do this. Like,
Just don't spill it on me, please.
She got experience with the baby food. You think she's gonna be jealous when her baby needs a bottle? Do you think she'll grab one for herself, like mommy daughter time? Oh, Gypsy, no.
I need like a vice grip to open that. Hold on. Got it.
Okay.
All right.
If you need me to open it, you can hand it to me.
Okay. All right.
She's so
this
excited.
Is the first one.
She wants to feed it to him, and Ken's like, nah.
And this one's like my personal favorite.
It's her personal favorite.
Your personal favorite? Do you eat this?
I don't eat this, but I did as a kid. So.
Oh. See, I don't think Ken knew about that Baba, Gypsy. Did you not tell Ken about the Baba before you put it in the book? I don't know. But she's enjoying it. She wants to give him all the foods. and banana is her favorite. I thought it was strawberry. Which one? Is it the Pediasure or ugh? She's putting baby food in her baby baba. Her baba.
Okay. Are you ready? All right. This is the first one.
Just hand me the spoon.
You got it right here. Okay. Okay. All right. So what flavor is that one?
Mango or apple?
Try again.
No.
Mm-mm. You want another taste?
Mm-mm. It's like citrusy. I just don't. Pineapple?
Nope.
I give up. No, just tell me.
Banana.
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 That was not banana.
It was banana. See you guys.
Oh, we know.
All right.
Just hand me the jar.
All right. The
Yes,
banana one?
No. What, the next.
The next one? Okay. I had them refrigerated, so they're a little cold. Here you go.
Put them suckers in the fridge.
Oh, you did that so easy. All right. Wait, I don't even know what that one is. Let me see. Okay.
She really wants to feed it to you, Ken. You took the spoon away from her. You know she wants to spoon feed him that baby food.
Ugh. That's awful. But that's definitely corn.
Okay, so this is the next one. Okay. All right, here's the next one. Back if you want.
What do you
Wait, was she?
You can get me back if you want.
Sorry, that part. When I rewatched this yesterday, I was like cackling to myself because, like, listen to her right here. She look at her face expression, everything. She's like, you can get me back if you want. Like, I can eat it. Like, she wants to eat that fucking baby food, Ken. He's like, nah, I'm good. Watch one more time. Watch her.
This is the next one. Okay. All right, here's the next one. You can get me back if you want.
What do you mean get you back?
Like, I'll do it next.
Okay.
She's salivating. That's why she's got her lizard tongue going in this video because she is salivating watching him eat that baby food. She's hungry.
That one's not bad.
Okay. What is it?
She has like applesauce. So is it apple?
It is! Ding, ding, ding. You got that right?
Like the sound effects.
All right, last one. I'm going to show them what it is.
What is
Okay.
that?
Here you go.
Mango? Ew.
So good. Jar popper.
I think it's orange or
Arms.
it's citrusy again.
It is citrus. It is citrus.
It's not orange.
It's not orange though.
Uh-huh.
Get one more try.
Mangoes.
Yes! Good job!
Oh,
You got it all.
Well, we can't let you try these ones. We have to get 4 different ones for you.
Oh, God. No.
Or we can. But I feel like because you know all the names of them now, it's going to be.
Oh, it would be
You know
like
what I
one of
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She just really wants to eat it, Ken, is a thing. You know that she ate that whole thing of banana after this.
these. I would already know what they are. Good
Right.
point. Good point.
So we'll come back for her.
Drum roll. Oh, you did good. What was that? Like
3 of 4.
3 of 4. Not
Yeah.
bad. It
What are
was
we going to do
the
with these now? We're going to
was the-
save them for when the baby's born?
no. It was the banana that you got wrong. Out of all of them, the banana one.
It just doesn't taste like what you think of banana.
I'm gonna taste it just for fun.
Sorry. I thought that was so funny. She's like, she really wants to eat that damn baby food. Listen one more time. I'm just gonna try it just for fun. Sure.
What you think of banana?
I'm gonna taste it just for fun.
Now, Ken, if you already knew that Gypsy sucked a baby bottle with baby food in it till she was 24 years old, you've got to be really cringed out right now. If you knew. I just want to know, Ken. I'm going to scream it out into the ether. Maybe it'll make its way back to you. I want to know your thoughts on the book, Ken, and about your baby mama sucking a baby bottle till she was 24. Can you imagine going to Target, to Baby Shop, and you're in like the bottle section? She's, I want to try the Dr. Brown's. I'll try it out before Aurora. I'll make sure the nipples have the right flow because she's an expert on sucking nipples. She said it herself, okay? I didn't make that up.
I wouldn't know that banana.
It's easier once you're looking at the label and you're like, okay, because then your brain makes.
She's licking the spoon. She loved it, bringing her back. Because if it was like a traumatizing experience and like everything that you are going to have to go through, like milestones with your baby, is going to be traumatic, is that going to trigger your PTSD because the baby has more diapers than you do? Andy, hey Andy. She said she was picky about the nipples. Yes. Yeah. She prefers the clear ones because of the flow. She may like a Dr. Brown's. I watch some of these mommy vlogger people. They're not really vloggers anymore. But one of them, or they have these really nifty gadgets. Ladies, I'm talking to the ladies. For breastfeeding now, and like there's this one, and it looks like a boobie. And so like you can get the milk, and then the little bottle that you give to the baby actually looks like a boob. I don't know how to explain it, but it does. I bet Gypsy would like that. We should get her one for her baby shower so she can drink her own milk. Ew. We need to go on to the next subject.
Makes a connection to.
But I used to eat that one as a kid. I used to eat that one, so that's why it's familiar. Okay. They used to have a more like liquid.
Like, Ken, what were you thinking in this moment? Because I know what I was thinking in this moment when this video came out. I was like, how in the hell would you remember what baby food you preferred as a baby? Because nobody remembers that because you're a baby. But you remember, Gypsy, because you were still eating baby food when you were 24. You were still sucking that baba. Fuck. What is wrong with you? As a kid, yeah, all 24 years of her being a kid. Look at her licking that spoon.
Because then your brain makes a connection to.
But I used to eat that one as a kid. I used to eat that one, so that's why it's familiar. Okay. They used to have like a more like liquid one, and that used to be like in my baby bottle, and it was banana flavored, but it was purple as well.
Look at Ken's face. Okay. She used to put that in her baby. And if you knew about the baby bottle, Ken, in this moment, you have to be, cringing. You're cringing inside a little bit, huh? Look, just watch his expression. He's like, ooh. Hold on, I gotta pause it at the right part. Look at his face. It's like, well, okay then. Ooh, uncomfortable. Yes, she's so pathetic, yes. Oh, poor Ken. Look at these two, Bert and Ernie. Someone needs to, where's Case? case study needs to turn them into Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie meet Elmo. That'd be funny. Oh, Lord, Gypsy. All right, so what do I have next? Let's see here. Oh, okay. I'm going to go over, because I haven't even watched it all. But Gypsy recently, if you've been hiding under a rock, did an interview with Kale Lowry from Teen Mom. I don't know about you guys, but I was a huge Teen Mom watcher. And I've always kept up with them after that. I haven't watched the actual show in years, but I watched every episode up until that point. I know all the characters very well. Know Kel, I follow her all the time. So, when this happened, I was like, oh, Kel, why? And I came across yesterday on TikTok, I think it was on Pink Pony Club, and somebody said in her comment section that because Pink Pony Club was able to, well, until she got kicked out, to get into the book signing, right? So the video where they're booting her out, why won't it let me look at her dang, I guess her account is private. Well, shit. I can't pull it up. But hey, more than enough. Kel shot herself in the foot, I know, right? But okay, let me get back to what I was saying. So in Pink Pony Club's videos, somebody pointed out in the comment section that the camera crew that she happened to catch a little glimpse of while she was in the bookstore looked like some of the producer people from Teen Mom. And it does. She had a side-by-side picture of the Teen Mom ones and the ones that were at the bookstore. So is that why Kale, did this podcast? The one thing I do like that Kale did was she did kind of ask her the hard questions, or the harder questions, I should say. And my problem, though, is that after she would ask her those questions, she kind of let Gypsy just like skate by them like this shit is normal. Oops, wrong one. Shouldn't call her out on her bullshit, but again, she's probably not educated in the subject matter to know where to call her out. So I'm going to do it for you, Kale, okay? I'll be calling out Gyp on her lies. We're going to prove each one of them. Producers of each show and every season could easily be Googled to compare. Well, I can't do that right this minute. Waiting for MTV to give this wench a show. God, I hope not. Could you imagine? Murder Mommy. Hey, Yaddle. And shout out to Straight Outta Context for uploading the podcast to her channel. I appreciate it.
All right, Gypsy, thank you for coming on the Barely Famous podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I read your book cover to cover in a couple hours. Wow. Yeah, and I'm really excited to talk about it. I run an online book club, so this was right up my alley.
Oh, perfect.
You have been in the headlines for probably 10 years now. Does that sound about?
Look, I think out of any interview that Gypsy has ever done, I guarantee you this one was the hardest one for her, because she's facing someone that is her own age, that has been through way more. Like, Kale is actually a victim of child abuse. She grew up in a terrible household. She got pregnant at 16. But look at her now. She's a boss bitch, right? So I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt here that she knows that Gypsy's full of shit. But I think Gypsy is so uncomfortable because Gypsy cannot relate to people her own age. And Kale is not going, she does let her skate around some stuff. But again, I'm going to chalk that up to that Kale doesn't know everything that we know. So when Gypsy lies, she's not really able to call her out on it. So I'm going to tag you, Kale. I know I'm a nobody, and that's fine, but I am going to tag you in everything possible. And I encourage anyone else who puts out any kind of Gypsy content to also tag Kale Lowry, because I don't think she'd be okay with this woman sitting across from her lying. But just look how uncomfortable Gypsy is during this interview. I have a lot in my head right now that I'm just going to spit out. So, I was saying earlier how Gypsy is delusional, right? And sometimes I'm like, is she super smart or is she stupid? Because she sounds really stupid. She can't keep up with her own lies. She can't be that smart. I think she's a well-polished con artist, of course, which makes you a well-polished interviewer or interviewee. Like, she knows how to sit in front of the camera and talk and use a certain tone and certain language to make herself appear as something she's not. And you know what you are, Gypsy? You have a microdeletion, and you grew up as a sick child because you were a sick child. You're going to have to accept that one day, because all these people, Mike Stanfield, her lawyer, Melissa Moore, I don't know everybody's name, but if I did, I would call each and every one of them out. Christy Blanchard, all of the Blanchards, you guys have filled Gypsy's delusional brain into thinking she was never a sick child and that her mother was making her sick. And that's just not true. Dee Dee never hurt Gypsy. Dee Dee never medically abused Gypsy. Okay? I mean, I will sit here and we can scroll through her entire medical record. I'm just saying. So that's my biggest point out of all of this, is that, you know, Dee Dee was not a perfect person. She was not a perfect parent, but she did not abuse Gypsy. And she surely did not medically abuse Gypsy. Okay? That's my opinion. I stand on that 15,000 million toes down.
About right?
About right. Yeah.
Why now? Why are we writing a book now? Is there a reason?
Well, it's not exactly right now. I've been working on it for about 3 years.
Okay.
Hold on. She didn't even have hold on. Who said that? Where was it? She had 4 surgeries, not 100. Actually, she didn't have surgeries. I wouldn't consider, I don't know. I guess it's, no organs were taken out of her body. She had a lot of testing done, some of that exploratory, not always. That happened like one time. She had a laparoscopy. Anyways, y'all are going to get me off on a tangent with the medical shit. All right, hold on. There's something else I want to pull up before we really... I'm not going to be able to finish all of this podcast. Hold on. I had couple things real quick. Okay, here's one thing that I script because I was deep diving. There are so many news articles that you can find on this. Most of them have been scrubbed off the internet for some weird freaking reason. Isn't that weird that you can hardly find these articles unless you go to the Wayback Machine? So this is a article from right before Nick's trial, and the prosecution was trying to get the character of Dee Dee thrown out of the trial. Like, that was not supposed to be a part of the trial. I don't even think it was. I think they might have had that motion granted. But anyhow, this is the article, and this is from the prosecutor, Dan Patterson. that abuse is hardly a justification for murder, according to prosecutor Dan Patterson, who just a little less than a month from Nicholas Godejohn's first day on trial argued the character of Dee Dee Blanchard should be withheld from the jury. Even if Gypsy's mother was abusive, her aggression wasn't being shown at the time of her murder and played no active role in that night's violence. All right, that's about Dee Dee. Very important, in my opinion. That is from the freaking prosecutor, because if Gypsy Rose would have had her own her own trial with a jury, she would have been found guilty of first-degree murder because her mom was not doing anything to warrant her life being taken in the middle of the night as she slept in her bed. Anyhow. Let's see, I had one. Oh, did I just close it? I had one more thing to show before we move on. Okay, let me open this one. So I wish I could play the Dr. Phil, but Dr. Phil is really, he can have your stream shut down if you play him. So, but this was from the Dr. Phil interview? She said, quote, I was on breathing medication for seizures, medication to help go to the bathroom, pain. She was on pain medication and anxiety medication, just everything. That's a direct quote, Gypsy said in the film. This might be from Mommy Dead and Dearest, I don't know. I would have to put on the breathing machine every night. I hated it, though. It seemed to make my breathing worse, not better. And then another machine for the feeding tube. What? You're just full of shit. A machine for your feeding tube? It was controlling what I eat. My medications would be put... Where did it go? My medications would be put through there. I really wouldn't even have to be awake. So she could put whatever in my body and I wouldn't know. The reason I share this is because it's just to show a pattern here. That Gypsy has never stayed consistent with her story. It's always evolving and it's always changing. And the truth never changes. Okay? You're a fucking liar.
Okay.
And notice in that she said, her mom had her on pain medication, anxiety medication, just all the medicine, seizure medication. No, ma'am. No. Now we know that you were the one swiping the pain medication. You were the one swiping your mother's anxiety medications to abuse because you are now coming out as a drug addict. But in that article I just read to you, it says that her mom was the one putting pain meds and Xanax into her. Bitch, you are a liar. Quit slandering your mama, Gypsy. All right? That's my mama now, as Key would say. You know, that's my mama now. I'm going to take care of Dee Dee. Prove you a liar.
The portion that was the final pieces was editing, and that came after I got released.
Okay. So it's been a work in progress for a long time.
It has.
And there was some things in the book that I was surprised to read because, you know, we hear all kinds of things in the media and people come up with their own theories, but was writing this and sort of going through this entire process for you cathartic and sort of like therapy for you?
It was challenging at times because I had to kind of ask for information from family members because like I know my side of things, but I don't know the full picture. So I had to talk to family.
Sorry, guys. I just read this comment. Look, anyone that bought a book, we should have a book burning. Like, remember back in the day when they were all mad at the Beatles and they started like burning the records and shit? Hold on. I think the lawnmower man is here and my dog is in the backyard. Anyways, we should all go. If you bought, I did not, but if you bought a hardback version of this book, please burn it on camera. All right. We'll start a whole fucking thing. Hashtag burn books for Gypsy. I'm going to push play and go tend to my dog.
Family, I had to talk to, friends to get a lot of information that I didn't know about.
Right. So do you ever talk about your relationship and where they stand today with Claude or Laura? Do you talk about that at all?
Laura has passed away. She passed away a few years ago. I don't speak with Claude. We live like literally one town apart. But I haven't run into him since I was actually little. So
do you know how he feels about the book?
I honestly don't know how he feels about the book. He's in his 80s, so I'm not really even sure if he even knows about the book.
Okay. I mean, he doesn't really need to know. Your truth is your truth. And I feel like at the end of the day, he can't dispute what your perception of any of this was, right?
Correct.
I mean, I get that. So the people that you developed relationships with while you were in prison, do you talk to them still?
Fortunately, I can't. While I'm on parole, I can't have communication with them. But after I'm off parole, I can.
And how long are you on parole for?
For about another 7 months.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 7 years.
No, about 7 months to go.
So what does that mean? So
okay, is it just me? Or sometimes I'm like, Kale, I feel like you throw it a little shade. I feel like you throw it a little shade, girl. Like she's not straight up I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but sometimes I think that Kale's throwing a little shade at her. Ethan was proven wrong, correct? They collected the bookstore. I don't know, Joy. I haven't called for myself, so I have no idea. Yeah, Bryn, I'm telling you, like, this was really hard for her. You can tell. She's not that polished turd. She knows that Kale's gonna, as Nina says, clock her tea. All right.
when you get released from prison, you go on parole for what was the?
I think if Kale would have been prepared for this with the facts of Gypsy's case, not what has been put out by the media, I do think that Kale would have called her out on her shit. So again, if you make Gypsy content on TikTok, on YouTube, on wherever, make sure you tag Kale Lowry. Okay.
For me, I spent 8.5 years locked up total.
Okay.
And then the remainder of the 1.5 years on parole.
Okay. And then once you're released from parole, you're done? Do you go on probation or anything like that?
I'm done. Like the sentence is complete.
And then could you move out of state if you wanted to?
I could. Yeah.
Do you have any plans to move out of Louisiana?
I don't know. We've been talking about it.
Yeah. Because where is Ken from?
He's originally from Georgia, but he's moved around a lot. So
hey, Ken, she's not going anywhere. She ain't going to leave her daddy, okay? Because that's all Gypsy wanted in that damn book was a daddy. I think Gypsy's going to kill Gypsy's going to kill Christy to get to Rod because Rod seems to be like the ultimate prize for her. I mean, I love my daddy, but I'm not like possessive over him. Oh, it's weird. I bet when Rod comes in from the boat, he and Christy have to like fight for his time, or Christy may not even give a shit. I don't know. Family dynamics. Oh, to be a fly on the wall.
So he's lived in Dallas. He's lived in Seattle.
Right.
So he's moved around a lot.
Yeah. And all of those are kind of like, I guess, the South, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just a lot different. This is my first time in Louisiana. So,
welcome. This is not what the weather is like usually.
Okay. Well, I brought a winter coat because I was like, I didn't know what to expect. And it's 30 degrees back home. So I was like, what is going on? So in the book, you talk about trying foods for the first time and having your salivary glands taken out.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean? And when you say that you were trying foods for the first time, what were some of the?
Hold on. Well, I'm going to tell you, Kale. All right. I'm going to tell you what that means. Just a moment. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right, let's see here. So humans have 6 major salivary glands and hundreds of minor salivary glands. So your major I don't know which ones she had removed. Again, I have the medical documents, just not in front of me. But here's a little education from the medical documents. Gypsy and her mother, and the doctors, of course, because they did a swallow study, and Gypsy did not pass the swallow study. She had a sleep study where it was reported she would gag on her saliva while she was sleeping, and they had Dee Dee prop Gypsy, up at night, like with a back pillow or something, so she wouldn't choke. Okay. And she had a lot of digestive issues that stemmed from her microdeletion. Anyhow, my point is, they in the medical records, they tried Botox. They did several rounds of trying to use Botox to reduce these glands to make her stop producing so much saliva, which was actually true because it's in her medical records. Anyways, hold on. I lost my train of thought. So when the Botox was not effective because she was still having these issues, they decided to have 2 of the glands, I believe it was 2, removed. We don't know what glands they were. I don't know right now. It probably is in the medical records, like the specific ones. But it does not, it was needed. Okay? If not, you would still be drooling, Gypsy. You needed to have that done, or you'd be getting Botox injections in your neck for the rest of your life. I don't know. But that's the truth, Kale. I don't know what's about to come out of her mouth, but that's what that means.
The things that you experienced with eating certain foods for the first time.
So when I say, eating certain foods for the first time, it means that I've never tried it before.
Okay.
So
Okay.
certain foods my mother never let me eat, or the majority of my nutrition came from my feeding tube.
Right.
Okay. I cannot. I fucking can't. The fact that she acts like she was not allowed to eat real food, that's another lie, Gypsy. The problem is you're picky. You're a picky eater, because when you go to like high-end restaurants, you order French fries because you're picky. You don't eat seafood. We've heard you say that. You don't eat seafood. I just can't. I fucking can't, because I believe that Dee Dee did not medically abuse Gypsy. Gypsy had these issues and still has them. That's why you're over there licking banana baby food off of a spoon. That's why you sucked a baba. Foods I never ate before. Yeah, her mom was, in the book, she says that her mom would bust open. I don't know what your infatuation is with biscuits. She would pop open biscuits, bake them, but not let Gypsy eat them. I was on a sugar high. I danced up and down Main Street. Royal mashed potatoes, Gypsy. Fuck.
And formula based nutrition.
All the way up until you were how old?
24. I was about, up
Oh,
until
wow.
Okay, so this is about your baba again. You made the choice to suck a bottle. I'm sorry that Dee Dee let you do that. Why? I don't know. It sounds like Dee Dee had a problem with telling you no. I mean, because I would never let a 4-year-old suck from a 3-year-old. I mean, maybe it depends, but usually by 3, there's, I don't know, your kid's not sucking the bottle anymore. That was a choice, a conscious choice that you made to suck on that fucking bottle till you were 24 years old. You're trying to tell us you're not. I gotta be PC here. There's just something wrong with this girl, y'all. She gives me dark energy vibes. That's just weird. But yeah, you were offered food. We've got plenty of pictures to prove that you ate food. You were not denied food. You were not malnourished. I'm just going to be quiet and let them talk.
Crime itself.
I did not realize that. So when you don't have those glands anymore, what does that do for eating food?
So the salivary glands isn't exactly part of why I had the feeding tube.
Okay.
So
Hakab, I did too. I did too. So, but you will never see a freaking 9-year-old. We'll go with the age of 9 sucking a baby bottle. They're just naturally gonna not want that shit. That's so odd to me that she enjoyed sucking a baby bottle even after she knew her age. That's not something that I just can't. I can't get over the baby bottle. I can't. It's like the Barney doll. It's gonna haunt me forever. I don't understand how a 24-year-old sucks a baby bottle and then says, I don't know why they pulled my teeth out. I don't know why that happened. It must have been medical abuse. No, it's bottle rot. Your teeth look like, as you described them, SpongeBob SquarePants. You're probably thankful when they took those teeth out because it was probably easier to suck on that baba with your gums, you nasty.
the salivary glands was taken out after the feeding tube was already placed in. But what your salivary glands do is produce saliva. So if often you'll see me drink, lick my lips, that is often a sign that my mouth is really dry because without the 2 salivary glands in my neck, I produce less saliva.
That's so interesting. So when you're eating foods,
I have to drink a lot.
Did they tell you that was going to?
Well, which is it, bitch? Because remember when they were shoving water down Gypsy's throat? Remember that? Who remembers that live that Gypsy did at the Blanchard house? And Ken was there. It was they were gathered for the final episode of the Lifetime show, and then they went live, and they just kept handed Gypsy water to drink. So which is it? I wonder if that would. I'm gonna have to look it up. But does anyone know if you are over salivating and they take some of the glands out so you'll stop doing that, would it cause dry mouth? I have to ask the chat GPT. All right, let's continue.
Going to be a side effect, or were you too young at that point to understand like what that meant to have?
I wasn't told, so I had no idea what the side effects would have been.
That's so interesting. And there's no way to obviously replace them.
No, once they're out, it's taking organs out of you. You can't regrow them or put them back in.
Do the foods taste the same otherwise?
I wouldn't know any different, would I?
Right. No, I guess not. And so could you get regular foods like blended and put through your feeding tube, or it was just strictly
that's possible, but it's not recommended.
Okay.
The doctor gives you a specific routine on what you can and cannot put through a feeding tube, or they don't recommend putting regular food through a feeding tube because it often gets stuck in the feeding tube itself.
That's so interesting. And in the book you talk about the correctional facility that you were at. Does the word correctional in the name of a prison mean anything?
I think that it does. I think that the word correction often means to stop or to prevent. And prison definitely does that.
So you think that it's more of like a rehabilitation effort?
I think for some.
All right, just to be clear, it does say that One of the side effects of having your glands removed is dry mouth. It's one of the most common ones, actually. Taste alteration. Some individuals may experience change in taste sensation, difficulties with digestion. Saliva is essential for the initial stages of digestion. Increased risk of infection. Oh, issues like oral thrush, which she had, by the way. Psychological effects. The experience of undergoing surgery and adjusting to changes in bodily functions can lead to psychological effects, including anxiety or depression. Support from healthcare professionals, family, and friends can be beneficial during the adjustment period. What? For having your glands removed? Having 2 salivary glands removed due to oversalivation, a condition known as whatever, sialorrhea. She has sialorrhea, maybe, can have several effects on a person. The body may adapt in other ways, such as increasing mucus production in the mouth and throat, but this is not a direct replacement for saliva's role. Ew. After surgery, it's essential to have regular follow-up appointments with health care providers, including dentists and possibly speech therapists, to monitor oral health and address any issues that arise. Dang, it's not really. That's kind of. I didn't realize getting your salivary glands. Maybe I need to be more specific. We need to find out which ones. It was reduced. They did reduce them with Botox injections, but I think they ended up removing 2 of them, if I remember correct. Hyperthyroidism. Is that what she has? Can you hear her mouth isn't dry if you listen? I don't know. I didn't know, though, that having your glands removed. What'd you say? Hey, Becca Scoops. What you doing, Becca? You want to come up here and break it down? Because I'm bouncing over here. My mind is all over the place. Let me know.
I think it is very much based on what the inmate wants.
Okay.
So if the inmate wants to better him or herself, it will be productive.
Okay.
And if not, then they're just spending
You know
wasted
me.
time.
Okay. Because I know that there's like state prisons or federal prisons, but they don't necessarily always have the word correctional in the name of the.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I don't know that for sure, but I've noticed, or at least I think I.
Okay. I'm only 6 minutes in and I'm like, no. What do you think, Becca?
Yeah, I just really quick. I don't know. Well, I wasn't the kind of the nurse that, operated on salivary glands, but I think
Your mic is there you go.
I think what you were reading from, sometimes people that have certain illnesses, which Gypsy didn't have. So cancer, the reasons why removing the glands would maybe create dry mouth in certain people that they remove too many of them. Does that make sense?
See, I just looked up. I just typed it into like Chat GPT.
Right.
To see what would
For
come up.
her, it did not create dry mouth because they didn't take that many. And her problem was she had too much saliva. And I just would like to say that Dee Dee did not make that up. I went over in the last week over and over again those medical records again.
Good.
And found one doctor, actually 2 doctors, who examined Gypsy and saw and they reported the pooling of saliva. They saw it. Also in the book, Gypsy talks about being in that shed. Remember this other new trauma?
With no floor in the bug.
Right. And she wakes up what? Drooling. That's interesting, Gypsy. Thanks for that little tidbit.
What do you think about the sucking of the baby bottle? I can't get past it. I can't.
I know. I can't either. Her mother, obviously, we all know that, at 24, you don't have to be weaned off a bottle. This is something psychological with her. Yeah, I do think it has something to do with sexual stuff.
I do too. The way she talks about painting the dildo with her tongue.
Yeah, that book is so
I'm popping that
vile
picture
and
out. Yes,
so
it is. It's gross.
disgusting that
The
it's
more I
really
hear it, like
yeah,
now, it's so dark. It's so dark. Her thinking, like she just makes me ick.
yeah,
She's so gross, and
yeah,
I think she's got. It was speculated early on when they found Dee Dee, and then they found Gypsy and Nick, and blah blah blah. The Facebook groups were born, and it was speculated early on because she was into what they called age play.
yes,
Okay, because she has a weird obsession with having to talk about diapers and babas.
yes,
Kitty.
yes. And you can see it in the
Gross.
text messages too, where I'm sorry, my mic's acting weird. Where
I
she
know
likes
it's
to,
going up like
yeah, it keeps going up and down on its own. It's
mhm.
like there it goes again. Like
Yeah.
Gypsy's possessing it. So weird.
Gypsy, stop.
Please stop, Gypsy.
That's what her mom said too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's a God damn it. I'm sorry my mic is so weird.
Is it on like auto adjust or
No,
something?
it's on manual. Yeah. Let's see if is that better or not?
We'll see.
All right. Can
So
you
far,
hear
so
me?
good. Yes.
Okay. Anyways, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so I just think that yes, that her whole persona, there's something in my video, I get into into her sexual stuff
Okay.
and what I think it is, and I back it up with receipts, and it wasn't Nick, it was her, and that's all. I mean, it all of that was her, and I found proof of it, and I hope you guys
Her her want for this, quote daddy,
daddy
ugh,
issues, big
yes,
time daddy issues.
but there she makes it sexual.
It's gross.
I'm telling you, like Chrissy's gonna be the next to go
Yeah,
because she wants her daddy to herself. Watch out, Mia. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
She's so delusional too. Like if you think about it, like how can you make your child delusional?
No,
Like who would be 13 sucking on the baba? And because she says in the book, like people would look at her weird when she was 13 years old sucking on a bottle, and her mom would say, "Oh, she's just slow. She has mental problem,
so
mental."
do you think that Dee Dee allowed it just because it was another prop, or you just think Gypsy was hard to handle and she just let her do it? I
Oh, I
mean,
think, but it kept her young and
quiet.
innocent, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was.
yeah,
She didn't tell her no, obviously, because I would have
yeah.
cut every nipple there.
Me too. Me
But
too.
oh, what was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you something. What was it? Do you okay? Because I go back and forth on this because Gypsy is a well polished. I say that in loose terms.
Right.
For her, she's learned how to speak in interviews, how to conduct herself, and what kind of you know what I mean.
Yes.
But I don't like. How do I say this? I go back and forth on if she's just fucking stupid
Is she
or
smart or stupid?
yeah, is
Here,
she smart or is she actually stupid?
she she's smart, but the problem is because of her psychological problems, her psychiatric problems, the
Mhm.
narcissism and the antisocial personality disorder, and she's a pathological liar, she
Yeah.
can't help herself. Does that make sense? She can't, she'll come out with these lies,
Yeah.
and you're like, why would she lie about that? That's really dumb to lie about that, right?
Uh-huh.
But part of being a pathological liar is you can't stop yourself. You can't help it. You have to lie
You have
about
to
dumb stuff,
embellish.
about dumb shit.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
So she's smart, but because of her psychiatric problems, she does stupid shit and
Okay.
she tells on herself.
Yeah. Shit, what was I gonna ask you? Fuck, I can't remember what it was now. Something about that. Hold on, it'll come back to me.
Okay.
Is it about the bottle? I keep getting stuck on that damn bottle.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe it'll come back
There's
to
a
me.
lot of stuff with oral fixations
Yes.
psychologically. Do you know what I mean? She seems to have oral
Mhm.
fixation.
She's
obviously.
delusional. I think that's what I was gonna say. Like, she's completely delusional because
Oh.
if she's not handicapped, why was she acting like it? You know the
Okay.
video of her at Disney World, like, she's like, I don't know. I just picture like,
Acting like
how was
she's
she in
like she's
public?
like not altogether mentally, right? That
Like a
weird picture
baby.
of
She
her.
was acting like a baby.
Right. So is
Like,
she
even the
was
videos.
that
Right.
right? So the question becomes then, is that the act? Or yes,
Yes.
is she delusional? So if she's delusional, she believes all of this shit. If she doesn't believe all this shit, if she knows the truth deep down, then she's diabolical.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be a I'm
I'm not
telling you,
sure.
she's
I think she's both in a way. I think she's
mhm.
diabolical and can be delusional at times.
Mhm.
Meaning she
Well,
understands her lies. You know what I mean? She knows when she's lying. She just can't help it because she's pathological. She's sick mentally. She's
yeah.
not well. And yeah, I mean, that's obvious. She lied so many times in this interview. Oh, I was put under anesthesia 100 times. 100
Have you watched
times?
this yet? Because I
That's
haven't watched it all.
yeah, I had to yesterday. I'm finishing my script for my video, so I
You
had
should
to.
have like content for at least 10 more videos.
You know what that was? I was writing to my friend, and I go, you know what? This is like 4 videos. I can't do this in one video. There's just
Uh-uh.
too much.
Uh-huh.
There's just too much. Yeah.
It's twisted and dark.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna push play.
Okay.
I have, and Alessandra's saying yes, so I'm going with yes. I want to dive headfirst into page 3 of the book. Obviously, I want people to go pick up the book and read it, buy it, all of that. But you used a metaphor where you talk about it was, your
I keep thinking of stuff and having to pause it. I need you to tag Kale Lowry in everything that you have. I
Okay.
want her to see this because
Okay.
I followed Kale, the girl from Teen Mom, since the show came out, like when she was 16 and pregnant. And I have like a lot of respect for her. So this was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I think if she would have known what we know, she would have called her out on her shit.
She would have went hard at her, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I think she wouldn't have let her skate by with some of the stuff that she said.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely go and tag her. Yeah.
Okay. She tried to get Ryan to come on her podcast, and he didn't do it. So, but this was before Gypsy. Like, this was when it was like drama publicly. All
Okay.
right.
your throat was going to be cut, or so it was more of like a life or death sort of situation.
Correct.
Can you sort of describe what that meant to you in a way that people will hopefully want to go buy the book?
I think that obviously we wanted, and we meaning me and my co-authors, wanted to convey a sense of urgency.
Okay.
Because
Oh
a
my
lot of
God.
people can't put themselves in the mindset of where I was at with the abuse and how desperate I felt. So having a statement like she was going to cut my throat, that statement stands out a lot.
So she's admitting that she's lying in the book and she's trying to sensationalize something that was never even real to begin with, because there's no record of that, right? Of any upcoming surgery?
No, it's been in my video too. I'm like, what the hell? So for 10 years, we haven't heard about this. You kept this to yourself. You kept this very traumatic moment, like the pinnacle moment of your life, the moment that led you to kill your mother, and you've not divulged that information until now. Really? Yeah. Unbelievable.
Damn it. Oh, you know what I was going to tell you? The only thing that I saw that was upcoming for them was the Oli Foundation trip. It was supposed to be in June or July, I believe, of that year. And that's why they had the gypsytrip.com account, you know?
Right. That's why she had that up. Right.
Yeah. And that, as far as I know, that was the only upcoming thing. So did Gypsy just not want to go? And I
Well,
had heard this a long time ago, but I, you know, Dee Dee's mom, Emma, she died the same day Dee Dee did. Same
right.
date. That's not a coincidence.
You know who else died around that same time?
Who?
Stephanie, Nick's
Really?
mom. hmm
That
If
is
not the same day, the same week.
the one with her mom was basically the same day. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe that. That's not
well-
a coincidence.
Well, on Dr. Phil, Gypsy tells a different story. The different story is that she talks about how she gets in a fight with her mom, that her mom had planned an upcoming surgery, and then she tells on
Yeah.
herself, and she says, one that I've had many, many times before.
Oh,
And
that's
what was
right.
that? What was that? That was the feeding tube. Right. So where did this story come from? Where's this from? Gypsy, help me understand, because now this is a new story.
Yep. It's always evolving.
That's
Or it's
pathological
always
lying. It's a
Mhm.
lie. It's a pathological liar.
There's no way she can keep up with her own stuff.
And I don't get the people that help her write the book. Are they not looking into this shit? Or are they just like, well, let her say what she wants? I don't get it. You know?
I don't either. Money, I guess.
I guess.
Chat
Yeah,
GPT could write a better book.
It was horribly written also, just on a literary standpoint. It wasn't a good read. You know what I mean?
No, it
No.
was not. And I went back because I was trying to look for something in her other book, the released book.
Yeah.
It was about the BB gun incident because that keeps changing as well.
Right.
And when I went to that book, hold on, what was my point of that? What was it that I came across? Shit. What were we talking about? What was it?
Just that the evolving stories and
The BB gun. Fucking
yeah,
A. My ADD is out of control today.
that's okay.
It's going to drive me nuts. I know I screenshot it.
Like something about the BB gun incident, because she changes
No.
that story too, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she says, "Oh, I knew it was a BB
Oh,
gun." She
that's
tells
what it
Kale
was.
that, but she
Like
doesn't.
I didn't read the book when it came out, the release one. I kind of more or less scanned it.
Yeah.
And basically everything in the new book is just a repeat of these recorded phone calls between
Right.
her and Melissa. Let's
Right.
hear I want to hear all the phone calls. Just put those out.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to hear those. I'd love to hear like Melissa saying, well, maybe we should say it like this. Maybe this will be better. Because I got to think that's what happened, right?
Or Gypsy took, what they had and either added to it or changed it, embellished. What she's good at. I don't know. It's a horrible book and it shouldn't be on bookshelves.
It's terrible. It's almost unreadable. I mean, I had a hard time just getting through it just from the literary standpoint of like, oh my God, lady, seriously, you're a writer? Really? Okay.
She really thinks she is. That's where the delusion for me comes in. Like, I really think she believes she is some sort of scholar author now.
Oh yeah, she does. She does.
What if she writes children's books? Oh no.
Oh God. Don't.
Melissa Moore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what these people are thinking. It has to be about the money.
It's
There's
always
no
about
way.
the money. It's about the money.
All right, here we go.
All right.
And so it transports the readers into my mind and emotion. And so that's why it was so important to kind of say that and then go into the details of what I meant by that.
Right. It sort of paints the whole picture.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand. The book was very well written, and I was really impressed with how thorough it was. There were a couple things, and we'll get to it later on, about about Nick and some of the things that I didn't really know. I don't know if I just didn't follow his story as much, but in the book you said that you were in a silent standoff, right? So your mom was desperate to sort of keep control over you. Looking back, do you still feel the same way?
I do.
Yeah.
I just feel a little bit more humanity towards her now. Because after going through all like the research with family members, I started to learn that she seemed very self-isolated. She was just not someone that had a social life herself. It was very much
because she gave it up for you, Gypsy. She gave it all up for you.
Yeah. Can I just say something? Because a lot of things I can't say in my video. That's why I love when you do a live, because I can come up here and say it. My take, now that I've looking back over this last year, and so this whole last year I basically dedicated my life to studying Gypsy Rose Blanchard in this case. And you learn things every day, when you're actually researching this shit. And my take at this point on Dee Dee has evolved also from the first video I made. First video I made, I was pretty harsh on her as far as, being the con woman. I still believe she was. Obviously, I went over the medical records just like yesterday again, and she's lying a lot about certain illnesses Gypsy has. Okay? I know that.
Like what? Can you tell me?
But here's my caveat. Here's what I think about her after a year of studying this case. I truly believe, and as a mother, and those of you that are mothers can understand this fear, I truly believe that when Gypsy was very young, like an infant, she was born with this chromosomal disorder. They didn't know what it was, but for sure she had microcephaly. She can't deny that because you're born with that. Okay. And she still has it to this day. Because
you don't grow out of that.
As of 2013 in the records, doctor says she's got it. Okay. So she's born with this disorder, and how it manifests in her as an infant is she's got these breathing problems, and she stops breathing a lot. And I think that would trigger me as a mother. That would traumatize me. My child isn't breathing. My child is having difficulty breathing.
She's she's choking in her sleep because she was doing that as well.
Right. Exactly. And that's another thing that developed also was the saliva pooling, the choking and all that.
The gastrointestinal problems, and the ear, nose, and throat problems.
Right. And how do we know that? Because they're going to say, oh, well, that's just Dee Dee said that. We don't know that for sure. But we do know one thing. I caught that the grandfather, Claude, and he's not lying because you can just watch the interview. He's not lying. He's recalling when they lived with him and that her breathing alarm would go off in the middle of the night. He's not making it up. He's got no reason to even bring it up. It's a memory for this guy. Okay. And so that tells me this part of it is true, that Dee Dee was probably this woman. She wasn't super educated. She didn't have a lot of resources. And she truly believed Gypsy was going to die. I truly believe that she thought that, especially when Gypsy was young. She thought she was going to die. The breathing alarm is going off. What would you think? Oh my God, my child has stopped breathing.
Well, okay. So I don't know if you've caught any of this over on TikTok. There's a lady that has gone on a few panels that says that her child was just recently diagnosed with the same microdeletion that Gypsy has.
Oh,
so,
wow.
and it took them, I haven't vetted her story to, this is her story. And, it took a lot of testing for them to figure out, I think the kid was 9 or 10 and what was wrong with him.
Right.
And then they had him genetically tested and he came back with the microdeletion.
Yeah, it's really rare, that one. Yeah.
So does that mean she's got Munchausen by proxy because she had him tested for all this stuff to try to figure out it was a microdeletion?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if your child is exhibiting symptoms and you take
Right.
them to the doctor,
Right.
the doctor's going to refer you to the specialist. The specialist is going to
Well,
do this, that, and the other.
exactly, Starlight, and it's right there in the medical records before she was diagnosed with it, which wasn't until 2011. All the time, if you read the doctor's notes, the doctors are saying she has a chromosomal disorder unspecified, meaning we don't know what it is. We don't know what
Exactly.
it is.
They didn't have genetic testing back then.
They didn't have that test until 2008. And so I'm going to get into that in my video because it pisses me off where Gypsy maligns her mother, trying to say, oh, did she know that I had it? Did she have it? No, we know that she didn't know, Gypsy. And I'm going to get into that and I'm going to scold her.
You're going to have to break it down and write it in crayon for her to understand, I think. That's why, like, I feel like Mike Stanfield, Melissa Moore, all these people have fed her delusional mind the Munchausen by proxy story. And so she needs to understand the reality.
Yeah.
Because she talks about in this interview about the microdeletion and and Kale asked her, what does that mean? Does that, especially with your child?
Right.
And she finally says her daughter has a 50-50 chance of having it. And I have a feeling the child is going to have it.
I do too, because either something's weird with that pregnancy because she's really not
she's
showing,
small.
or it's a really small little baby.
Yeah. And according to, the Gypsy on the Bayou, if you choose to believe it or not, they said that the other day that the rumor going around the Bayou is that her baby is measuring really small.
It seems like it, or she's not pregnant. I mean, it's one or the other because she
I
does not
think
look
she's
8 months.
pregnant. I think
I
she's
do
pregnant.
too. She does not look 8 months pregnant. Not like
She
I look
doesn't.
or you look.
There's
Right?
and I'm only 5'2". She's 4'11". I'm 5'2". And when I was 8 months pregnant, I was 8 months fucking
How
pregnant.
big were your
You knew.
babies?
8 pounds. My
Okay.
second was 7, but in the higher 7.
So 7, even at it with the 7 pound, you were showing, right? I mean, you were.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I was a little girl with a big belly.
Yeah. My sister's 4'11". Here, weird fact: my sister has a genetic disorder. She was born with 3 kidneys, and for some reason,
what?
Yeah, and 2 of them weren't working. I only have one sister. She's younger than me, and she's only 4'11". And why is she only 4'11"? Because she had this genetic disorder. Well, she was born with 3 kidneys, and so part of it was the smaller stature kind of thing.
Do they keep all of the kidneys in there?
So 2 of them weren't working, and
Oh,
I lived with, and they had to develop a surgery to try to fix my sister. And I remember my mom having a nervous breakdown. I was like 8 years old, and my sister was like 5, and they fixed it. But she could have died. And I remember my mom. That's why when I think about Dee Dee, I recall my mom in that situation, and it's like I can understand,
Yeah.
the sheer terror of thinking your child isn't
Especially
going to make
back
it through.
then, no
Yeah.
technique, how do you don't prepare for that when you're pregnant like you can now, prepare yourself better.
Right.
That's interesting though.
Did you hear her say that her rod got tested and he doesn't have it now? And so I guess the whole thing is that.
Well, and this is
blame her
why I
mom.
know she hasn't or doesn't understand the medical records. Leanna on TikTok, I don't know if you follow her. I love her videos. And she brings receipts, and she played that clip where she's saying, that her dad didn't have it and kind of blaming it on Dee Dee, like Dee Dee had it. No, because Dee Dee was tested and Dee Dee did not have it.
Yeah, but you know what she's saying,
records.
Starlight? What she's saying is that her mom lied. And I'm saying, and I don't believe that. I believe when they found it in her, they immediately tested Dee Dee. I'm pretty sure Dee Dee couldn't
in
get away.
2011.
Right. I'm pretty sure Dee Dee couldn't get away with saying, no, I'm not going to get tested. Why would she?
Yeah.
So, but what Gypsy's trying to say is that everything in my medical records is a lie. And my mom wasn't tested for that. That's a lie. That's what she's trying to say.
She say that? Oh.
That's what she's trying to imply. She's
Yeah.
trying to imply that,
You
yeah, it
can't
says
look at the medical records, they're all lies.
right,
No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
right.
You
No,
can't
it
fake a
doesn't work
sleep
like that.
study. I'm sorry. How do you fake a sleep study?
Exactly, exactly. And why would Dee Dee allow her to spend the night if she was fearful that they were gonna figure out something about her? You know what I mean? She
Mhm.
truly was trying to figure out what was wrong with her daughter, is what I believe.
Sometimes I wonder if the head shaving was, Gypsy liked it, like, it didn't
I don't
'cause
know.
like a sensory type of a deal, like
Yeah.
with these baby bottles. Maybe she liked
Yeah, there's
having
still yeah, who
her
knows?
hair short. It was always short. I don't know. And
Yeah, it's
she
weird.
still, to this day, hacks it off,
Hacks it
re-dyes
off.
it.
Yeah, she can't
Yeah.
help yeah.
She's always doing something to it. It's
Yeah.
odd, but whatever. Alright, here we go.
In a tiny bubble.
Do you think that that was intentional and she was aware of it? Or do you think it was more like she didn't really know that she was doing these things?
I think maybe both.
Okay.
I have feelings about both. So I mean, I think that it was intentional to not correspond with our family, not correspond with my father, and so
Hold on, but you were, Gypsy. Hold on, I gotta pull up a screenshot. I'll bring the receipt, so I know I got it right here.
Yeah. So somebody asked me, does the record say she has leukemia? Yeah, the records say that the mom reports she had leukemia, but we know she did not have
She was
leukemia. The mom
lying about
reports she
that.
has muscular dystrophy. We
Uh-huh.
know that she did not have muscular dystrophy. Those
Mom
are
says she's
yeah.
paralyzed from
Yeah,
the
the mom says she's at one point a paraplegic, at another point,
Yeah.
poor Dee Dee says she's a quadriplegic, which means she couldn't move her arms. So, anyways, yeah, Dee Dee was Dee Dee was what we call a poor historian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no,
She was not doctor shopping either.
no, she didn't doctor shop. I didn't find that either. No.
Mm.
I want to say something. I think part of what I put out that people have kind of glommed onto is that Gypsy had 4 procedures. If you watch my video, I break it down. I'm breaking down the 4 procedures that we could say were suspect. Okay. And then I go to explain to you why I don't think they're suspect. All right. That doesn't include, she probably had in the records, I think I found 3 or 4 eye surgeries. But remember, Gypsy has said, I needed the eye surgeries. She admits she needed the eye surgery. She had ear tubes placed, right, Starlet? You know that. She had
Yes, she
ear
did
tubes
several
placed
times.
a few times, 3 or 4 times. She had severe ear infections. It's noted. She was in
That's
the
very
ER.
common in little in
Yeah, my son had
Mhm.
them. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not a big deal. She had ear tubes placed. So
Mhm.
those are procedures that we know she needed. So when I talk about the 4 procedures, I'm talking about the salivary glands, the Nissan fundoplication, which is the laparoscopic procedure, and then the muscle biopsy and the feeding tube. Those 4 is what it comes down to, where they can make an argument. Well, she didn't need that. She didn't need that. But yeah, she did. And so I just want to make that clear, because I see a lot of comments. Oh, she only had 4 surgeries. No, she had more than 4 surgeries. My point is that the ones that she's saying weren't necessary, I'm making an argument that they were necessary.
Are you including the tubes as a surgery?
No.
So
No.
what other surgeries would she have had?
So to me, the only one she really total in procedures slash surgery, she really didn't have a lot of surgeries. The only surgery
No.
she had really was the salivary
Salivary
glands. Then
and the
I don't know if you want
endoscopy,
to
which
count the
isn't a
dental work
surgery.
as it's not a surgery, but
No,
she
we're
was
not
put,
counting
I think
that
she was
bottle
put
rot.
under. Yeah, I think she was put under for that. Then you've got the muscle biopsy to the leg. She was probably put under for that because that's very
Oh, of course,
painful.
yeah.
That's about it. Oh, and then the Nissan fundoplication, which is a laparoscopic procedure.
Yeah.
That was because of her acid reflux. And what did she admit during this interview? I had acid reflux. She finally admits
she's talked
that.
Uh-huh. She says
Mhm.
stuff about that a lot. I've
Yep.
caught her
Yeah,
here
I
and
caught
there.
her in that one.
She has gastrointestinal issues.
All of it revolved around that. That's what I said in that one video I made, is that what I deduced was you start at the salivary glands, your digestive tract starts in your mouth. So that's
Yeah.
the salivary glands. You go down to the laparoscopic procedure, which was the Nissan fundoplication, and that helps the acid reflux. Okay. So those two procedures have to do with your digestive tract. Her microdeletion issues revolved to me around her digestive tract. The pooling of the saliva in her mouth that would make her choke when she
Mhm.
slept at night. That's all has to do with her digestive tract was out of whack due to the chromosomal disorder.
And a lot if you know, I
The
haven't looked at
feeding
the
tube is
record.
getting the feeding tube. She needed that also. I found where she was actually not doing well weight wise.
Yeah.
And then they got her on the feeding tube around the year 2000. And in one note, the feeding tube people talk about how, look, she's gained so much weight over the
Yep.
last 4 years, and now she's at a normal weight. And
Yep.
she maintained that normal weight. Yeah,
Yep.
she could have gotten rid of the feeding tube for sure. She didn't need it at 24. I agree with
I
that.
think it was like the bottle to her, you
Maybe.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but
Oh,
she was
in
not put
the,
under 100 times. There's no she wasn't
no,
even put under, guys, she wasn't even put under 10 times. Okay? And I'm
no.
talking about the eye surgeries and the ear tubes and all that, you know.
And some of the medical records are just like ER visits for
Yeah,
like fever or an
fever, like
earache.
childhood illnesses that you
Mhm.
take your kid to the ER for. Cough. One was she had a bad cough. Yeah. You know, I think you know what, the other thing is she doesn't have the records to when she was an infant either. She says in the book, I have my medical records going back to the year 2000. And that's exactly what we have. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I have anyways. I don't
Yeah,
have
because they
anything.
say they can't get the other ones.
You can't get them.
Mm.
So she doesn't have any other knowledge than what all of us have out here that has been put out by people like Fancy. There's no other, you know what I mean? When I read that, I thought, "Oh, she has the same records that Fancy put out." That's what I
Mhm.
deduced from that when she
And she
said,
doesn't know what she's looking at. She
"No."
doesn't understand them.
And it seems like I'm pretty shocked that Melissa Moore and those people did not, maybe why did they not get a medical person, a doctor, to review those records? I'm thinking maybe they did and then found out the truth also. Because there's
Mhm.
no way that you can read through those 204 pages of medical records and think that Dee Dee had Munchausen by proxy. You will
Mm-mm.
not come to that conclusion when you read those medical records. You just won't as a medical professional. Trust me, if I had any belief as a registered nurse that that woman had Munchausen, I would have said it in the beginning a year ago when I started this. I would have said, you know what? Hey, yeah, she's got it. She did not have it.
Speaking of which, hold on. Hold on, is that the damn it, I gotta put it into the Wayback Machine, I think.
Okay.
I found an article where a, quote, professional or an expert in the beginning said it wasn't Munchausen by
Yeah.
proxy.
Is it Dr. Ann
I can't
something?
remember. Let me see.
Because I have the one in the beginning that I had in my very first video. Her name was Dr. Ann. Last name starts with an R, I think, and she was a psychologist from the University of Missouri. And she went in and it was in a news article, and she said no,
Mhm.
she did not think she had it.
I think I didn't save the right one.
Dr.
I
Ann
read that.
Roast. Her name's Dr. Ann Roast. I don't know if that's the same one, but maybe you have a different one, which would be awesome.
I might, but I deleted 2 of the links. I'm gonna have to find it again. I know where I found it though. I'm telling you, Facebook.
Was it in the Springfield News Leader, or was it
Yeah.
a video, or was it an article?
either KY3 or Spring, or is that the same one?
So was it an article, not a
It was
video,
an
right?
article. It was an article
Okay.
'cause I had to get it from the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um,
But it was an
I have
expert, and it was
this
in the
one says here,
beginning.
as you might expect, such a diagnosis isn't so easy. Dr. Ann Rose, the assistant head of psychology department of Missouri State University, has studied this syndrome, which actually now has a new name, factitious disorder.
Mhm.
And then she says, factitious disorder is when someone purposely makes themselves sick, and by proxy is when they purposely make someone else sick, she said. With the case of factitious or Munchausen, a person usually has some history with the medical system. It can be disgruntled caregiver, for example, but generally the person has a need to gain some sort of attention, she added. They want people to see them as a wonderful caregiver, a wonderful caring parent who has devoted their entire life. Aren't they amazing? Rose said people with the disorder will go to extreme lengths to prove illness, often deceiving physicians by making a child, for example, sick. And then she goes on, and then she says, the one reason it can be difficult to diagnose, even in a hospital, let alone on the internet, the diagnosis is typically is made in a hospital setting. Many hospitals now have in-room video, blah, 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 blah. So the case of Dee Dee and Gypsy Blanchard, a case of Munchausen by proxy, again, she said it's difficult to make that diagnosis. For one, and here's the key part of this. For one, the victim, usually a child, isn't aware of the deception. It's unclear to this point how much Gypsy Blanchard knew about her condition, but certainly she knew she could walk. Also, Rose said, there's a similar but different disorder in which people fake medical issues for financial gain. That's called malingering.
Malingering.
And then she
You need a
adds, and here's,
bingo card.
here's the end of it. I don't have all the details of this case, but certainly it appears they were benefiting financially. Boom.
Mic drop.
Yes. That
Yeah.
did it for me. I was like, okay.
Mhm. What year
Okay.
was that?
That was right after Gypsy was arrested. Hold on.
Okay, that's the same one then because
June
it's out.
17th, 2015.
Yep. Before it became what it is. And you know what is so odd to me is Bobby Petrie. Like, where the fuck did you come from?
Yeah,
Because if
weird.
you go back, because it all started in those Facebook groups.
Right.
And Bobby, was the first one to accuse her of Munchausen by proxy. It's just weird, but it was straight out the gate. Like, you hadn't seen these people in 15 years, and you were
Yeah.
probably 15 at the time that
It's
you last
weird.
saw them.
You know what, Starlight? It's weird when a tragedy happens. And I think most of you know about my first husband. When a tragedy happens like that, it's funny how people come out of the woodwork. It's
Mhm.
really odd and it's really gross in a lot of respects because they think they're gonna cash in somehow or get in on the 15 minutes of fame somehow. And that's how I see Bobby. I just see him as like an attention whore that, wanted to get in
He's
on
got
his
a
15 minutes.
really deep hatred for Dee Dee.
Yeah.
He seems to
Or
be
did
the
he just
only one
adopt
on
that?
that
Yeah, or
side.
did he just decide I'm gonna take Gypsy's I'm gonna take her side. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna get famous off of this, so to speak,
But do you think
Um,
Gypsy was like, "Who the hell is Uncle Bobby?"
probably. But Gypsy's street
Or
smart.
did they know each other? And I don't know.
What do you mean? You think that they were in touch before this?
I mean, it's not out of the realm of
It's true.
possibilities.
She was on the internet a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was showing just a second ago. If I didn't say it, was this, which is her Snow Gypsy Blanchard account, which was
Yes.
one of her little secret accounts. I can't, but I think maybe not. Maybe it was her and Dee Dee. Anyhow, this proves what she's saying about her mom putting her in a bubble. She wouldn't let her talk to her dad, but you had access to all of them.
Look at that. That's such a good find,
And we've
Starlight.
seen
Yeah.
proof of Christy and
Christy
Dee
and
Dee,
Rod. Yeah.
yeah, conversating in Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
When Gypsy sent something very inappropriate, I don't even remember what she sent. Do
I don't
you?
think it was ever divulged what she said, but it was way inappropriate. That's how.
Mhm. And then the
Yeah.
message is Dee Dee's like, y'all are our family.
Right.
We love y'all. If you need to come here from the hurricane, we're
Right.
always here, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And
Is that
that
all a
wasn't
lie
Gypsy.
too?
Remember, she blamed it on Aaliyah, the neighbor. That was
Yeah.
Gypsy wants to be a nun.
I believe that. I believe that. And I think Gypsy likes being dirty. She talks about having to get clean
Yeah,
in her
she's got a
book. Yeah.
weird fixation with that, right?
The holy water.
What's the holy water thing? I missed that.
She's been baptized 7 times, and the last time was in Chillicothe because she craves holy water because she feels like she needs to be cleansed.
Oh my
Needs to
God.
be
That's
clean.
so freaky.
Very weird. So I think, like, as a child, she was very delusional as to the real world. Like, she wanted, to, I don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
The whole thing blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember where I was going with that. I don't know. Bobby Peter, I got my side eye on you. I don't know what's going on. There's just something weird about
Do
Uncle
you
Bobby.
think like Ken's gone? Because where is that guy? He just
Ken is embarrassed. He doesn't want to show his face. So embarrassed. That's what I think.
he's not like, he's not on any of these interviews at the bookstore thing. I mean, where is he? Yeah,
I
I mean,
want to know his thoughts on this book. Did you know this stuff?
oh God.
Prior to getting with her.
You
About
can't
the
be happy with
Baba.
that. I mean, as this is the mother of your child, I would be reading that and going straight to the court to get custody.
Did you see me playing earlier when they were on TikTok live? And no, it wasn't live. It was
Yeah,
a
the
video.
baby food.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't even notice that about how elated how excited. She's excited.
Yes, and she's like, I used to love this one. This was my
She goes,
favorite.
yeah, you can do it to me. And he's like, what?
Yeah,
What? Get
yeah.
away from me, you weirdo.
Oh, please don't make me.
Get away from me. You're so weird. That little baby spoon. Get away from me.
When they're
I'll hold the baby
shopping,
spoon.
yeah. And do you remember in the crime scene photos in that one drawer in the kitchen, there are baby spoons in there.
Yes. So freaking weird.
It was mommy and
She was eating
baby,
normal.
baby and honey. Ew, she talks about sucking a bottle when she gets her first Aunt Flo.
Does
She's
she?
like, I was laying in the living room sucking on my bottle when I
No,
felt
I
a
missed that.
gush. Yeah, she
Oh,
felt a
no.
gush.
No.
And there was
Like,
why did you have to tell me you were sucking your bottle when you found out you had your period? Like, what the? And then
and
she has a weird thing about her damn period too. She always wants to talk about her fucking period.
She wants to talk about it. She wants to talk about how she was on it when Nick. That's so I can't. I'm like, why do we have to have those details? Are those details necessary?
No, didn't need to know
not.
that. That's why I need therapy after reading that book.
You know what really there's a couple things that really piss me off that I in my video I go over and really go hard at her. One is the one thing we already talked about, how she came up with this new story about how Dee Dee was going to cut her throat and that exploratory surgery. The other thing is that she accuses Nick of rape,
Yep.
When on the stand, she denied it. She was under oath. Okay, so are you telling me under oath you lied? Is that what you're going to tell me? Okay. And so I really wanted to see if I could prove anyway, if I could disprove her that that's a lie, and I did, and I'm so happy. It took me many hours of research, but I can tell you in my video that's coming up, it will be before Christmas. Mitch, my husband Mitch.
Wait, what did you disprove?
That Nick did not
Oh,
rape
yeah.
her.
Is that
He didn't.
perjury? Did she admit to
Yeah, she
perjury?
admitted to
And
perjury. She admitted to perjury.
so is that okay? That
Well, they're not going to do anything. They don't go after people for perjury, but yeah. But I want to know why this book, to me, this book, if it had a theme, the theme is I'm going to turn my mom into this diabolical monster along with Nick. Those two people have got to be destroyed. That's what this book is. Those two people must be destroyed, and you must hate these two people after you read it. That's, to me, what it was about.
yeah.
Besides the gross sexual stuff, that's the side issue.
For some weird reason, NPG Cornerstone has me blocked on TikTok, but
Why?
I don't know. I have no idea because I've never been like, I said justice for Nick, but I never was involved with anything because there's just something's off about it to me, and I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, did you see Toddy made a video, and at the end today, the one she made today, she goes off on them.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that. So I went on another account to see if they had posted anything, and there was stuff I had never seen, and it was like stuff from Gypsy's deposition. So, MPG, what do you think about this book? The shrew is lying. You're letting her say that Nick came up with a fantasy world where there were portals and aliens.
This
and
is very damning. Yes, this is very damning against Nick.
Yeah.
This is very damning, the stuff that she writes in there.
I don't believe it, but
no, I don't either. And I'm going to prove that she's lying. I will prove she's lying about him. But it's very damning, and you would think that they would be up all in that,
Yeah. I would put out everything. You have her deposition. Let us see it, please.
Yeah, why don't they put that out? Because that would be
maybe the appeal is that still a thing?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd love to see the deposition.
Maybe it's some weird thing like, why won't Ryan? If I were Ryan, I would have dropped those fucking emails, those messages from prison so fast.
Yeah.
But he won't do it. Maybe Nick just is willing to take the fall for her.
I think he's delusional too, obviously. I think he really thinks that they'll get back together.
Don't know, but maybe it's time, MPG, you let us know.
Yeah.
Right. Listen to some more of this.
So I think that part was intentional, but I don't think that maybe she was aware how that affected me in a negative way.
Okay. So maybe some of the other things that were happening were in relation to, self-isolating, but she wasn't really aware of what she was like, how deep this was going.
How much it hurts.
Okay. That's interesting too. I actually only ever heard of Munchausen by proxy because of Eminem, right? Like the rapper.
I'm still learning about this.
Yeah.
I have like someone else brought that up too. And I'm like, I need to dive more into that.
That was my sort of first lesson of what the illness, I guess, is or was. And that was the only time I had ever heard of it until your story. And so I think that your story has definitely brought more awareness to it for sure. If you had to guess, how many times do you think that you've been under anesthesia?
Probably.
What?
Over 100?
Oh, Gypsy! No, you didn't.
Gypsy. No, Gypsy. No, Gypsy.
She gives these blanket answers, though. Like I pulled up one earlier. It was from an interviewer, like Dr. Phil, and she's just like, here, I have it still here. I was on breathing medication for seizures, medication to help go to the bathroom, pain medication, anxiety medication, just everything. She's just on everything.
Yeah.
You name it, she's on it.
She's on it. Yeah.
And in this version, her mom had her on pain medicine? No, ma'am.
No, she did
You
not.
were abusing her pain
Right. She was
medicine.
not prescribed pain medication.
She blamed that on her mom back then.
Yep.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Mm.
And do you know what the side effects of that are? Like, do you have, I think I've read
Just
something about like
100.
short-term memory or long-term
Can
memory.
I
Do you feel like you
park
feel any
with
side
your
effects,
Starlight for a
long-term
minute?
effects from it?
Okay.
I haven't
I
noticed
think she's trolling her a little bit here because
Yes.
because she obviously looked up what the side effects are. And if you look up what happens to a person who goes, is put under 100 times, it's like, the AI thing and Google's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
going to die, basically. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't happen. So I think she's like coming up and she's trolling her. Well, have you looked up what the side effects of that are?
Yes. Sometimes her responses, I'm like, oh, Kale, are you being snarky?
She is.
I pick up on the shade.
I think so, because she's going to go over the stuff, the side effects. And it's like,
Oh, she is?
I think so. Go ahead, press play. Yeah.
Long-term memory. Do you feel like you feel of
over 100, probably.
And do you know what the side effects of that are? Like, do you have, I think I've read something about like short-term memory or long-term memory. Do you feel like you feel any side effects, long-term effects from it?
I haven't noticed any so far, which
she trips her up. Gypsy's
Yeah.
so nervous in this one.
She is.
Kale's hitting her with the hard ones even.
Yeah.
She's making her think, and Gypsy's like,
Well,
"Oh,
yeah.
I haven't rehearsed this one."
Well, wait a minute. If I've been put under 100 times, you'd think you would know. Like, you would ask a doctor, do I have brain damage? I was put under 100 times. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you'd have brain damage. Okay, so let's not.
Yeah,
But Gypsy's like, oh shit, she did some homework. She did a little homework. Oh no.
feel like I'm blessed for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Going under anesthesia, when I was a kid, I didn't ask questions.
Right.
So it's like all the side effects and everything, all the dangers, was told to my mom, not to me.
Right. Right. Because you were a minor.
Right.
So that makes sense. In the book too, you talked about your, I don't want to call it an addiction because I don't necessarily think that you called it an addiction. Do you think that you had an addiction?
I absolutely do think that it was an addiction, to painkillers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So by accident, or were you already taking them and you felt the effects? And so you eventually, got to a point where you were abusing them, or do you think that it was more by accident?
It was originally, my first exposure was from pain medication from after having surgery.
Right.
And so that was accidental. So it started off with, okay, they prescribed me this pain medicine. Oh, it makes me feel different. It makes me feel kind of numb. And so after that point, that's when I slowly started to take more and more and more and slowly abused it.
Okay. And your mom?
What? So you were abusing your pain meds?
Yeah. How much pain medicine did you get it prescribed after a surgery? Like months of pain? We all know that's not true. It's not your pain medicine, obviously.
Was aware of it, but didn't say anything.
Correct.
Because I think that's what I read in the book, and I was shocked by that.
Correct.
But that sort of fell into subconscious or conscious plan of, her kind of keeping you close. It sort of helped keep you there, right?
Right.
That's so interesting. I always wonder with addiction, my mom's an addict and an alcoholic, and so I always wonder how sort of that can happen.
It's hard whenever you have someone, there's nobody there to tell you to stop or to pull you away from the edge, but instead encourage. So my mom was on pain medication herself, as well as Xanax. And so she would give me what we call a cocktail. And so that would be a mixture of oxycodone.
Damn, her and Dee Dee were getting thrown together.
They're getting high.
Cocktail.
And Xanax together. So.
And what would that do? Would it put you to sleep or what?
Yes, I mean, downers for sure.
No, that's called a
You were up
speedball,
doing
ma'am.
naughty
It's called a
videos.
speedball.
It wouldn't put you to sleep. It turns you into a big old hoe bag.
Yeah, it's like the Euphoria Central.
Yeah, you were doing dirty stuff on those oxys.
We know that. You weren't going
I've never
night-night
tried
after that.
She's so fake.
I know.
Can't.
uppers, but I have had downers, and it put me in a state of numbness.
Oh, uppers and
and I
downs.
liked being there.
What was the upper? What?
I didn't hear
What?
anything about Adderall or anything. What are we
No.
talking about here?
In downers for sure. I've never tried uppers, but I have had downers, and it put me in a state of numbness. And I liked being there.
And so would you spend a lot of time in that state of mind, you think?
Yes.
I know at one point you talked about how you took the last of your mom's pills
Mhm.
and then you guys had to go file a police report in order to get a refill because that was the
Correct.
only way that you could get a refill on the narcotics.
Correct.
When you think about that now, how do you feel?
I mean, I definitely
What? She's the one who stole them.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed too. Why are you
Yeah.
taking my meds, Gypsy? I
Yeah.
need it. And
Yeah.
they're all gone. Where are
Yeah.
they? Oh my God. I can't.
Yeah.
fucking can't.
You had to go file a police report. I wonder if that really happened. I
You
guess
probably
because
had to get a refill and like,
Dee Dee was
sorry
like,
that
"Damn it.
you chose this.
Damn
You
it,
know?
Gypsy. Now we're gonna have
Yeah.
to go down to the police
Yeah,
department."
she says in the book, I think, that her mom was really pissed because they had to hire an actual lawyer for it.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
Believe it was that incident. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Maybe. Was
mm.
it that? Or was there another one? No, maybe that was at the Hobby Lobby when they had to get the lawyer.
Yeah, when they got banned for life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She just walks up in there.
I know, right? She knows she's banned. That's so funny.
Does it bring back memories like when you go in for the first
Yeah.
time
I
and
mean,
you're like,
wouldn't that be
oh,
traumatic to you? Like
yes, I would
I would
never
be
want
so
to see Hobby
traumatized.
Lobby again.
Yeah, I would be like, I can't go in there. No, I'm not going in there.
Mm-mm. Think about looking at baby bottles when
Oh
at
God.
Target, you're shopping for what kind of bottle you want.
For your baby, but you're like going, yeah, I like these kind. The
These
flow
have
is good
great
on this one.
flow.
Oh my God.
These are the ones I preferred.
Like, why did she have to go into that? It's
I
just so.
don't know. She
Why,
wanted
Gypsy?
the
Why?
clear ones, not the brown ones.
Oh God, not those brown ones. No.
No, the clear ones had better flow.
I mean, like she's reminiscing like it's a happy memory, you know?
It is. I think it is. Ew. She liked being I can't. She liked being a baby. It's weird.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of regrets because
Yeah.
that's, not behavior that I would ever condone or am proud of. But it does put it in perspective as to like what mind frame I was in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I just, but as a mom, you're about to be a mom.
Yes.
So it's like, could you even imagine like helping yourself and your daughter do something like that?
No, I would never. Like, I can't imagine.
Oh,
Like,
I would
I
never.
would
Not
be
me.
so curious.
No. Not me. Me? No. Of course not. What the hell?
Curious to know, if she was here today, like where her mind was at in that
Mhm.
moment. Because did she need them at that point, or do you think?
She did need them. We were in a car accident in
Mhm.
2001, and it left her with an injured leg.
Okay,
And her leg had never healed back fully.
right.
So she still had like the pins and screws and plates and hardware to kind of keep her leg in place. And she suffered from daily pain. I won't say that she abused them.
That was my next question. Okay,
She didn't abuse them. I think she took them as prescribed.
okay. I think, and I don't know this for sure. I'm not an expert, but I would guess that it probably has a different effect on you as a child. You were young and you didn't necessarily need them,
Correct.
so it's going to have a different effect than someone who's actually using them as needed.
Correct. And dosage makes a big difference.
Right.
Too. I was around 90 pounds.
Oh, wow.
95 pounds.
And so she was probably double
Mhm.
your height and weight.
That is not. Look, I was 5'2", and I was lucky if I weighed 100 pounds.
Right.
That's not crazy.
I know.
She's little, and everybody gets fat in prison.
Right.
I don't know why she thinks that's a flex or something.
Well, I'm gonna.
She's like, I was so malnourished.
Well, I go over that in
Mm.
detail because she also this whole malnourished bullshit and in the video, and because she also uses it saying that she got her plea deal because they saw her being so malnourished. And I'm like, "Oh, really? Is that the truth? So let's look into that." Yeah. And she's not going to like that part of it either. Her and her malnourishment. Yeah, it's bullshit.
She didn't look malnourished. She had cake and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Or, you know, whatever. So
The
that's
dosage does
Pepsi.
make a difference.
in the book, I was shocked to find out that Christy and Dee Dee knew each other
Yes.
before your dad and Christy were together.
Yes. Laura, Christy, and my mom all knew each other.
That is so interesting. So
It's crazy.
was that a point of contention? I believe I read in the book that it was a point of contention. Dee Dee felt like,
And they all fucked your mother over.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Christy sort of took her place and was with your dad. Is that right?
Correct.
I am just, so your dad and Christy
Correct.
actually grew up together.
Yeah, they met in high school. And
Okay.
so I mean it was a small town.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of like everybody knows everybody. So yeah, they kind of grew up together and went to school together and stuff like this. So they were always friends. And when my dad started dating my mom, Christy was still just a friend. But my mom always felt like there was maybe something more. And that jealousy kind of grew from there. And there was always contention between the two.
Did you know that before writing the book, or did you?
I knew that from
You did?
I did know that because often my mom would say really mean things about Christy
Okay.
to me growing up. So yeah,
You had
I
the-
knew that they did not, or at least I knew that my mom didn't like Christy. So
Has
I
Christy
wonder
ever
why.
like expressed that she didn't like your mom?
no, like she was very civil. She's like,
I read. I know I
Yeah, there's-
screenshot it. If I didn't, I need to go back and screenshot it. Where Christy said, when it came out about the BB gun, because I just did a video on the
Yeah.
BB gun, and
Christy said good.
yeah,
I just watched
yeah,
that
it was
last night.
so disgusting.
Yeah. You know, there's a rumor that, and usually
Good
some
for
rumor
her.
about the night that, on the wedding night of Dee Dee and Rod, that he went out, that Christy showed up.
Mhm.
Christy liked Rod. Okay. They were young. They were like
Obviously.
17, 18 years old. And
Mhm.
she had a crush on him. And so then he gets Dee Dee pregnant, and him and Dee Dee get married, obviously. And at the reception, it was at this restaurant or bar somewhere in Cutoff. And Christy shows up, and in the parking lot, her and Rod were kissing, making out.
Yeah. Where was this?
The night that on his wedding night to Dee Dee, he was in the parking
That's for
lot.
sure.
No, it's not for
y'all-
sure. It's a rumor that's been going around for a while. That's a rumor.
Word on the bayou.
Word on the bayou. Yep. And yeah.
Yeah,
So
she stole her man and then got knocked up by him. And
yeah. Well
Dylan
then,
is not
he
too
gets
much
that other woman
younger.
knocked up too within
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Christy got the prize of Rod Blanchard though.
But Gypsy wants her daddy. You better watch out.
Better watch out, Christy.
Better watch out.
like, I thought that your mom was a nice woman. It wasn't until after I started dating your dad that there was this back and forth tension.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder why.
That is so interesting.
Yeah,
Have your
exactly.
feelings changed at all? Like, did you not like Christy growing up because of what your mom said?
Exactly. So, I mean,
Okay.
growing up, my mom always used to tell me that Christy was like the home wrecker.
Well,
Mm.
she
Um,
was.
Yeah,
Bitch,
she
so are
was.
you.
Exactly.
You're a home wrecker. Basically.
She's the other
Ken's a home
woman. Like
wrecker.
she was always branded the other woman.
Right. So she didn't have her own identity. So you
Correct.
sort of took on what your mom felt, which, I mean, when you're young and you only have the one parent
Mhm.
in your life, what are you supposed to know?
Exactly.
You're just going by what you're taught.
Yeah.
In the book, you talk about a half sister but it wasn't clear if that was Mia or if there's another half sister.
I have 2 half sisters.
So you have Mia, that is Christy and Rod's, and then you have another half sister.
Yes.
And do you have a relationship with her?
We are friends on Facebook.
Okay.
So we communicate through Facebook. We have met once
Okay.
earlier in the year.
Okay.
We all got together, and it was great to have, like, my dad had been wanting a relationship with all 3 of his daughters.
Okay.
And so one day when I was in town, my sister Facebooked me, and she's like, "I'd like to meet you." And so it was great because I had me, Mia, and her there.
Right.
It was great.
And so has your dad maintained a relationship with her, or she's kind of been separate from everybody?
She's I would say she keeps her distance in a way that she has a family. She has a son.
Sure.
So I think all of the media stuff really just kind of puts her in a protective mode, which
Right.
is understandable.
For sure. And so your dad was sort of like, I mean, he's pretty good looking. He's pretty good looking.
Everybody says that.
Oh,
So I can
God,
see
that's the
why. I
wrong
understand
thing to
how all this
say.
has transpired.
I swear, I'm sorry. I think she has a thing for her dad. I do.
Yeah, she's got daddy issues for sure.
But so do you think that they'll have a closer relationship moving forward? Do you think
They're
they'll have
trying.
Yeah,
They're in the works of
Yeah.
having.
No, it's tough because I think once you grow up a certain way and you live in, a certain lifestyle, or you live in maybe is she in Louisiana as well?
She is, yeah.
So even if you're in a different area, I think it's really hard. I met my sister as an adult as well, and I feel like I love her, right? Like that's my sister. But I think sometimes once you're an adult, it is so hard to sort of create those relationships, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I hope that you guys are able to have like a further relationship. Yeah. Have you ever talked to your dad about why he was willing to marry your mom? Because it was the right thing to do. But I don't think in the book you mentioned him maybe putting the same efforts into that sister. Like, did he just never really have a relationship with her mom?
Well, it was we're actually very close in age.
Oh, okay.
So like really close,
Yeah.
only by a couple months.
Okay, so he had to sort of choose between the two. Okay, he's a player. I get it. I get it.
He's got 3 baby mamas.
I mean, I have 4 baby dads.
She
So
said he's got 3 baby mamas.
That's right. She's like, oh, she's trolling her. Oh, okay. Yeah. He had like a lot of women pregnant at the same time.
Yeah. He a hoe.
It's fine.
So I mean, he was 17 years old.
Yeah.
When my mom got pregnant.
Okay.
So he would have been, roughly around the same 17 or 18 when my other sister's mom got pregnant as well.
Okay.
So it was one of those things that he was so young. He's trying to do the right thing.
Right.
He's paying child support on 1 kid.
Right.
Now has to pay child support on another
2.
kid. So I mean, I just chalk it up to like he wasn't ready to be a dad. And yeah, we had those conversations since I've been released.
Yeah.
And he's been very open and honest with me. And he's like, to be honest, I was just trying to do the best thing for you.
Oh, we got to go to part 2. If I even have time. I probably should just do it next time. I'm about to have to end it. I got to go to a Christmas program.
Do you?
Yeah.
At school or?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not till 6:30. But
all right.
Yeah.
I gotta finish doing my work.
So what are you doing? Going down what rabbit hole?
Yeah, I actually was on this interview. Actually, I'm finishing it today, and then
yeah, I still haven't.
I've got the script written. Basically, now I'm just trying to make sure that I've got everything that I want to have in it. But it's with the book coming out. There's just it can't just be one video. There's just too much. So I'm going to do the best I can. And I think it's pretty good at this point. I've caught her in a lot of stuff, and it's fun. It's going to be interesting. So
yeah,
it'll be before Christmas.
I can't wait. It should be
good.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yes,
a lot.
Yeah, she told a lot in the book. There's a lot of cross-referencing from the first book to the second book to a lot of interviews. It's a lot of research. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be your humble servant here doing
Well,
it.
let me know if you need anything.
Of course I will. I will.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to get going then.
All right. Thank you
All
for
right,
coming
guys. Thank
out.
you so much.
You
Thanks.
have a good rest of your day, ma'am.
All right. Love everyone in the chat. Love you, Starlight.
Thank
And
you.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. I gotta go do my chores. I will do more of this, of course. Breaking it down, talking it out. Sometimes you just gotta talk it out. It's so much. There's so much, Gypsy. Just tell the truth. That's all. I don't know. It's all nuts. I have to like decompress after I go down the rabbit hole. It's a lot. Jeez. Bad juju. Rod is made. He picked up the jail. He called. Yeah. All right, guys. I will see you later. I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Was Morbid live last night? I can't remember. Is tonight the night where he goes live? The days are blending together. All right, everybody, go unpack that. That's a lot. I think Gypsy Rose is twisted and delusional and, a liar out here doing the most. Kel Lowry, I think you should hear the other side of this stuff with Gypsy and hear us out on, debunking her. Because I think if Kel knew what we knew, she would have called her out on her shit. But anyhow, we'll talk about it more later. Hope everybody has a good day. I appreciate you for being here. Please hit the thumbs up. And I'll catch you guys around. Peace out. Bye.
A disclaimer that I don't have all that much time today. Got a little bit of time today.
This beat is going to drop in 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's fair game, right? Bye, everybody.